In case of a water landing, you may be used as a flotation device.
Oh, sorry. Finals, I forgot. This is the 2010 Bacchus OSL Grand Final. Freaking Yellow. You ruined my intro, man. I love that picture of Yellow, though. And Yellow was actually backstage. I was watching the preview video that came along with the rest of my videos. I was like, what the hell? I'll watch the pregame stuff, too. And Yellow was backstage talking to both of these guys. So I think he's going to crown the new King of Silver tonight. Because the loser of this final will tie Boxer and only Boxer for the highest number of OSL finals losses for a single player. Yikes. So a lot riding on tonight's little matchup. The loser, of course, will get that coveted silver mouse, which doesn't exist, but God, I sure wish it did. Yeah, this is Fantasy versus Stork. This is where it all began for me. This is the first OSL Finals matchup I casted. So it was epic then, and it's going to be epic now. I mean, how could it not be? Fire bursting from the stage. And here we go. God, I'm so excited. I can barely form sentences right now, seriously. Okay, here we go. Gladiator is our double map, which means it'll be played in sets 1 and 5. Fifth set if it's needed. Focus nuke. Focus. Accept. Down at the 5 o'clock position in green is Fantasy. Yeah, you know, he's kind of a newer Terran player. You might have heard of him. He's pretty good. And up at the 2 o'clock position in Teal is Stork. Another new player, I think. Kind of a new Protoss. He's about 15 years old, just broke out. Yeah, he's pretty good too. Oh man, it's gonna be so epic. Okay, I gotta get out of spectator mode here. So don't let my rabid fanboyism take over. Okay, switching over to commentary mode. Okay, I think I'm switched. But yes, I was reading the comments section for my hype video, which got such a good response this time around. I was kind of amazed at how well received it was. First of all, thank you. Second of all, I don't think my commentaries are going to be able to live up to the hype I created with that video, but I guess that takes some pressure off of me. I can relax, knowing that I won't measure up. Yes, I was reading the comments for that video, and I was surprised because both these guys have so many fans. They both have a lot of fans, and that's unusual for a final. You usually see some lopsidedness in who the fans support in finals, but both these guys have an awful lot of fans. So that surprised me. I think that Stork probably has more, just because, you know, he's Stork. He kind of has a weird aura of underdogness about him, as I think most Protoss players do, but Stork in particular. It's hard to explain because he's sort of an underdog, but he doesn't play like an underdog. He has that low APM. That's kind of a handicap for him. He's a Protoss player. That's kind of underdog in itself. I mean, try to think of consistent Protoss players off the top of your head. It's like trying to find a good song on MTV or something. Doesn't quite work. But Stork has been very consistent. And he's kind of an older player, too. He's been around since 2005. And older players they're not usually consistent, except for maybe Nada. I'd say that Stork has maintained a level of consistency better than any other player except for Nada. I think Nada still hasn't beat as far as that goes in his reign of terror. Yeah, but Stork, that's why he's kind of an underdog. An older player, low APM. But he doesn't play like an underdog, as I said. He's an S-class player. He plays consistently well. It's just a very strange situation. But Stork is coming down here. He's going to scout this sort of wall off from Fantasy. There's Paralyzed. Like, oh, I think he cut his fro. Oh, man, why'd you cut the fro? That's your signature, man. That makes me angry. That also completely distracted me from what I was talking about. God damn afro. All right. But yeah, I'd say that Stork has a good chance in this OSL, but I think he has some things working against him too. Obviously, what he has working for him is his epic Protoss versus Terran. Best in the game. He has some of the best versus Terran of any player, not just Protoss players. And Stork is coming down here with one single Zealot, trying to put on pressure, but Fantasy pushing him back with 3 Marines. Yeah, Stork's going to have to get out of there, or he's going to lose that Zealot. And Fantasy actually keeping on the pursuit. Might chase that. No, he's running back to his natural expansion, going to try to hold that, because he knows the Dragoon will be out soon. He doesn't want to deal with that in the middle. But yeah, one of the things I think Stork has working against him is the fact that Fantasy is awesome in finals. You're probably saying, well, he hasn't won a final yet, but think back to his OSL finals he played. They were both 5 games. He took both Jaedong and Stork over 5 games and played awesomely in those games. Creatively, nice innovative thinking, good strategies, good builds. So Fantasy, he is a clutch player. I mean, he single-handedly won the Pro League finals for his team, basically. Took down Jaedong twice, and I think Haya once for his 3 games in the Pro League finals. But he is just awesomely clutch. So I think Stork has that working against him. And there's also a rumor, which has no substantiation, by the way. I don't know if this is true, but there's a rumor floating around that Stork just broke up with his girlfriend. So, you know, life changes like that can have an effect on your play as well. Yes, Stork. Those girlfriends always pick the best possible time to break up. I have experience. So there's Stork. He's hanging outside of this bunker. He's going to have that Dragoon range popping up soon. I saw it spinning on that cybernetics core. And Fantasy actually has walled in. Baby! It's a baby! Goliath Online. Yeah, that baby was just born in the audience. Man, a lot of babies born in the audiences. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, he's seeing StarCraft with his waking eyes. It's a beautiful thing. Brings a tear to my eyes. But Stork is putting on pressure at that bunker at the front. There's a Fantasy actually building his armory and his academy at the same time, getting those 2 A's up at the same time. And Stork is using his 4th Dragoon to chase around this SCV, get rid of that scout. But the scout saw the robotics facility warping in anyway. So okay, Stork still putting pressure at the front, and Fantasy's go wait till he has his first tank out, which he will have soon, and he is upgrading Siege at the same time. It's kind of an unusual opening from Fantasy, I'd say, seeing the armory and the academy at the same time for him. It's not usual to see the armory coming up this early in the game. Usually see that after about 2 factories, I'd say. So okay, Fantasy, he's still repairing this bunker at the front. Now he has his tank, and I think he's just going to siege that soon. I don't think he's even going to worry about pushing out here. He's trying to get into range. Stork is going for the tank. Fantasy's got to be more careful here. Oh, he loses the tank. Stork taking down the first tank. Oh, that is bad. That is very bad. Stork has some damage on some of those Dragoons, but he took out the first tank, and that's always a huge loss. Huge loss for a Terran player. Not to mention Fantasy was researching his siege. He got that done, but he has nothing to siege. He has no tank out there. The robotic support bay warping in for Stork, but now Fantasy will have his tank out front. He will have that siege tank. And Stork getting rid of the red Dragoon just to try to make sure Fantasy can't splash that with the tank. And now he's heading back with all of his Dragoons, knowing he got the damage done that he needed to get done. Oh, a lot of damage to Fantasy to lose that first tank. I mean, remembering back to when Stork sniped Haya's first tank in their first round of 8 game, we all remember how that game went. So Stork knows that he has an advantage now. He's just got to ride that advantage and make use of it. Transferring out to his 3rd base, Stork is already taking that 3rd base. He's playing his usual standard Stork play these days, which is to expand heavily across. He's probably going to do that across the top of the map on this particular map. And he's already adding some more gateways. Yeah, as I said, I'm so excited and having trouble forming sentences. But there is 1 tank out there, and there is a Goliath, actually, for fans. 2 Goliaths for Fantasy out there to snipe the first shuttle, I think. So some innovative play from Fantasy already. This might work out fantastically because the Reavers are going to be in the shuttle. I'm not sure if there's a Reaver yet in that shuttle. I would be surprised if it popped up fast enough for Stork to pick it up and come down here, but yeah, the 2 Goliaths ready to snipe that shuttle, so this could be one of Fantasy's smart little builds to try to bypass his opponent's usual standard play. Fantasy scanning there, trying to get rid of that shuttle. He does get rid of the shuttle, but he does not take it down. So Stork knows, well, he just got 2 Goliaths there. That means he's going to be weaker at the front, though, in terms of his tank defense. He's probably only going to have about 1 or 2 tanks if Stork comes down. So that's what Stork is doing. He's actually streaming down with some units now to the natural expansion. I think mostly Dragoons, but yeah, there's a starport already for Fantasy. This is an unusual opening from him, to say the least. I guess you should just expect unusual from Fantasy, especially in the finals. Thinking back to his Bacchus OSL finals. Excellent. All the white people in the audience, they are so happy. Wow, that guy was pretty awesome. So, okay, Stork is going down here now. That guy cracked me up, but now Fantasy does have his he does have 3 tanks at the front, and that will be enough to fend off Stork and keep on the defense. And Stork has decided to take a 4th base. He's already hovering around a location over there at the 9 o'clock. Okay, wow, that guy's awesome. But yeah, the science facility up already for Stork. Oh, he loses his shuttle. What was in that shuttle? Was it a Reaver? Oh, I hope not. I have a feeling there was a Reaver in that shuttle, though. Oh, it's insane. If Stork lost the Reaver this early, that could be horrible. And Fantasy's actually finding the Observer and taking that down, too. Going for Observers first is actually working out great for Fantasy, but he needs to start working up his tank count now, I think. And Vulture count, of course, because he is the Vulture terrorist. Got to go out there and do some Vulture drops and whatnot. But Stork is actually positioned a probe down here to see if he can spot any dropships. What? Stork moving away at the exact wrong moment to see that dropship. Stork. Oh, man. Talk about bad luck. Yikes. So Stork is going to have to deal with a drop soon. Oh, I can't believe that. The exact moment. But now he's going to see this dropship. He sees the dropship. So he actually did get that scouting information he needed about the dropships coming his way. But he might be a bit slow to react to the units that are about to be dropped. I'm not sure what was in that dropship. But Stork, oh man, he's getting close to the high ground where some mines are. Oh, Stork, he's so close to this now. Stork could lose his entire grouping of Dragoons. He's got to be careful, man, and get some Observers over there. There's a Samsung Con coach looking down like, okay, I might be bad luck if I cheer on Stork or something. But another Observer being sniped since the Source Science Vessel is out. There's a Siege tank at this 12 o'clock position and a single Vulture, maybe a couple of Vultures, not exactly sure. Yeah, a couple Vultures laying the mines at the top. This is what Fantasy is good at, Vulture harassment. And then Stork forced to take down his own pylon to get into this base. But of course, that's how he works out his base defense anyway. There's a Reaver guarding the front, and Stork's trying to get in here, snipe this tank, and snipe all of the mines that are in this vicinity too. And then, oh, another mine drag from Stork. Oh man, he's had some bad luck in this game, although he did eventually find that dropship, so I guess not entirely bad luck. That was insane, though. I can't believe he pulled back at that exact moment. But Fantasy is pushing out with a pretty sizable force. He has 2 science vessels, too, to get EMPs at the front. God, this is such an unusual build from Fantasy. I've never seen a build like this, to be honest. But Fantasy are already building another base, his 3rd base. I'm going to try to protect that. I believe that was right next to a pylon, too, so Stork knows about it. Now Stork has got to hold his high ground. What is the Reaver doing? Stork, what's the Reaver doing? The Reaver... Stork's got to pick that up with his dropship. Oh, lost Reaver. Reaver's going down there looking for its Reaver family. Its Gold Slug mom and dad. Crawling. I don't know where that Reaver's going, but Stork is going to try to hold that high ground area. He already has 4 bases mining fairly comfortably. Got some harassment, obviously. But he's still mining from those 4. He's upgrading +1 attack at his cybernetics core, which means carriers for Stork. Stork is going into a carrier build, and this is going to be insane because Fantasy, he had his armory very early on, and he also got Goliath out very early on. So if he scouts this, if Fantasy scouts a fleet beacon, he's going to be able to switch into Goliath very easily. This is an unusual choice from Stork. Considering the opening from Fantasy, it's almost as if Stork is not adapting to what Fantasy is going for. Although getting science vessels this early, that would hurt an Arbiter build too. So it looks like Fantasy has both links on the path locked down with his current build here. Running into more mines. Stork has got to be more careful here. Stork. You're killing my soul, Stork. But yeah, some EMPs there from Fantasy at the front, just try to make this troop. Oh, some storms from Stork. He doesn't land on the tanks, though. He's got to get back there and get those tanks. Defensive matrix on one of the tanks, so Stork decides to back off. I'm not sure why. He had the high ground area. He probably could have shot down from the high ground, being able to take out all those tanks. But he's going to group up, wait for some more reinforcements, and then push again. Okay, Stork. Stork has 4 bases running. Fantasy's going to have his 3rd soon. I think he is mining from that 3rd now. There's the fleet beacon from Stork, and he has his 3 Stargates at the top. Still has his cybernetics core spinning for the +1 attack, +1 air attack for the carriers. So Stork is going to try to make a carrier build work. I think he could make it work as long as he keeps his ground army. I think that's why he pulled back from the 5 or 6 tanks earlier, because he wants to keep that ground army, have a massive ground army to supplement his carriers. Because he knows that Fantasy he already has his armory, he's already ready to go with Goliath. So I need to be prepared with a massive ground army too to take out the Goliath. But still a defensive matrix on that one tank. Going into battle yet again, Fantasy trying to take this high ground area. Another EMP on all the Dragoons there. The splash damage is going to absolutely destroy that. More storm from Stork, trying to hit the science vessels too. He does hit both of the science vessels, but he still needs to focus in on these tanks. He focuses in on 3 tanks, loses his entire army. Stork's entire army going down to what Fantasy has. Oh, that could be it for Stork. He probably overcommitted to that attack. He lost all of his Dragoons in that attack. And now Storker's going over there, finding the 3 o'clock base, going to try to get something done over there, but picking up his High Templar and deciding to get out of there. But I don't think Stork has enough to defend himself now. Even with carriers, I think the carriers were scouted. Yeah, I think Fantasy knows about the carriers now, because here come the Goliaths. Lots of Goliaths out before even one carrier pops out of the Stargates. There's one DT trying to chase down these tanks, at least. Maybe Fantasy won't notice that for a while. Maybe. That could work out great for Stork if he can come in there, but no, being scanned. Fantasy taking that out. Almost nothing at the front now for Stork, and Stork was trying to expand at the inside 2 o'clock base. A very wrong time to expand for Stork, very bad time, rather, for him, because he just does not have many units out in the map, and he's banking on the fact that Fantasy has not scouted the carriers, but he's going to find out soon enough that Fantasy has. Once the Goliaths start pouring in here, yeah, that might be it for Stork. Even though his economy is doing pretty well, he lost all of his units, and he needs something to fight back this massive attack from Fantasy. Fantasy's just going to get on the contain at this natural expansion. The Reaver out there in siege range. Oh, that Reaver's going to go down for Stork. Oh, Fantasy focusing in on that, but one Reaver Scarab lands before the Reaver goes down here. I don't know what Stork is doing. This is a very unusual play from Stork. This is not Stork-esque by any means, and the Stork fans kind of looking very sad there. I'm a Stork fan, but I guess I wouldn't be sad if Fantasy takes this, because he's going to take this game. I don't see how Stork can do anything with just carriers, especially if Fantasy comes in with reinforcement Goliaths. Right now, I think he has enough Goliaths at the natural to take down all of Stork's carriers. And he's going to come in with reinforcements, which means, okay, Stork coming in here for a big attack. He's flooding in with Zealots, trying to take out these tanks. Of course, he's going to have to focus on those Goliaths, get rid of the anti-air. But here come the reinforcements. Reinforcement Goliath, some more defensive matrix. Awesome defensive matrices from Fantasy in this game. Just allowing him to keep all of his important units alive. And in this case, that would be the Goliaths. And Stork going to try to take the 10 o'clock base. But he's going to lose his main soon. He's obviously going to lose his natural expansion. Fantasy's going to camp out there and try to siege into the main. And siege those gateways. So Stork, it's really not looking good for him. Stork was trying to take another base down to 6 o'clock, but Fantasy already taking that for himself. Here come the carriers, running out of interceptors. All the interceptors being sniped, so he's going to have to back off and replenish those. Not even pumping any more carriers because he doesn't have the economy to do it. So Stork, oh, it's not looking good. He's trying to find Goliaths that are isolated so he can take them out, not have to worry about them. And he's trying to do some damage with the DT that is immediately scouted by a turret. So it looks like Fantasy is on top of this thing today. But he's got to come in here and snipe these carriers. He's got to focus fire on the carriers instead of the interceptors. But coming in with reinforcement Goliaths, I think these reinforcements are going to be able to lock it down. If you can find the carriers, rather, he's going to be able to just destroy them. He has so many Goliaths, and there's a Dark Templar like, no, that's my base, not yours. Give it back. Fight for what's mine. But the Goliaths coming in, sniping more interceptors. There is a huge amount of them, and now all the gateways going down for Stork. This is kind of Stork's last stand in a way. Carriers are extremely powerful, but only if you keep those interceptors alive, and he's trying his best to do that and fight at the same time, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get the critical mass of carriers he needs to do this. Now Fantasy is focusing in on the carriers themselves, trying to take those down. Going to be able to do it too, microing around, taking down one carrier. Oh man, Stork is falling back to this 9 o'clock base. He's over there at the 9 o'clock. And he was trying to establish that 10 o'clock. He just threw down the 10 o'clock nexus. But as I said, his main is in jeopardy. Well, Fantasy is taking Stork's natural expansion. I think this is partially a humiliation move from Fantasy. Although he does need, I guess he needs a new place to expand. So why not right next to your opponent's main? Why not, man? So Fantasy is mining very comfortably from all of his bases, building the command center there. Oh man, trying to get into Stork's head. But that mine sight range is going to spot the carriers coming down. So I think that Fantasy, almost called him Flash, will be able to snipe these carriers, find them and snipe them. Obviously finding these poor probes, run probes. The probes trying to transfer over because guess they were out of minerals inside the main or something. But alright. Stork, I don't know what Stork can do. He's just holding on for dear life so he can get some storms going and keep on the carriers. There are the turrets everywhere for Fantasy, though. That's going to make it hard to keep up a healthy interceptor count. So Fantasy has a pretty large number of tanks still here that are being sniped by Stork, but Stork will have to deal with an army of Goliaths soon. I think Fantasy has brought all of his Goliaths back to the natural expansion just to hold that even longer. There's some more storms from Stork. Yeah, Stork is banking on the fact that he can get enough storms to get himself out of this jam, kill all the units at the natural expansion, and protect this base. And he still has a pretty large number of carriers, but he just doesn't have the ground army to supplement it. He doesn't have any way to pump units because he lost his gateways there, his main gateways inside the main. I think he lost about 2 or 3, and that's really going to put him behind. He has some more gateways up here at the 12 o'clock position, and he has another gateway down at the 9 o'clock. But yeah, you can see it from Stork's face. He is fighting an uphill battle now. And Fantasy spotting the Dark Templar, going to take that out. And yeah, Stork is trying to use the sneaky Protoss units to get himself back into this game with some High Templar, some Dark Templar, causing some major damage. He's waiting for those Goliaths to come up this choke so he can storm them. But Fantasy not going to fall for that. He's going to wait until he has some tanks, I think, before he pushes that 9 o'clock base. There comes some more backup Goliaths to this natural expansion from Stork. Stork is dwindling now, especially on economy, because he hasn't been able to keep up a very healthy economy. He finally has that 10 o'clock up and mining, but as far as mining goes, he's not doing much else, as Fantasy has 5 bases now. I think he is mining from that Stork's natural expansion now. Oh boy. So the carrier is still alive. Stork still has some semblance of a chance here. But he's got to snipe those Goliaths, get rid of the Goliaths, and then he can just... it would make it easier for him to take more bases, basically. Keep up his economy, get his economy a big boost, because it needs a big boost now. But here come the carriers now, running into a huge amount of Goliaths. Pretty much all the Goliaths that Fantasy has pumped in this game, I think, have made it over here to this 9 o'clock base. Oh, Stork. So Stork backing off yet again from doing a direct engagement to these Goliaths. And he's now in danger of losing his 9 o'clock base, which is one of his last remaining mining bases. He's trying to build more gateways at his 10 o'clock position, but he's just holding on for dear life. This is like the end of Blade Runner where, I forget the main character, Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is hanging on with one hand. He's like, oh, damn it. And that's what Stork is doing right now. He's hanging on with like one finger, like his pinky finger, hanging on for dear life with those carriers. But Fantasy focusing in yet again on the carriers themselves, taking them down to red, and putting Stork in a very vulnerable position. because Stork is trying to use the ledges to his advantage. And this is a pretty good carrier map because there are ledges all over the place. But at the same time, it's easy for... if you scan on top of the high ground areas, it's easy for the Goliaths to snipe those carriers. So it's a bit of a pro and con situation. You get some pros with the cons there if you go for a carrier build. But High Templar storming on top of the Goliaths yet again. Stork has lost his 9 o'clock base, and now Fantasy is going for the 10 o'clock. And if Stork loses his 10 o'clock, which it's likely that he's going to, I think we're going to see the GG from him, because this is his only source of intake now, economic intake. And this is where his gateways are, too. Because Fantasy still has some troops positioned outside of his natural expansion. Some more defensive matrix there for Fantasy. Stork holding his own. But he doesn't have any ground units. That's it. GG from Stork, and Fantasy takes game 1. As he did in the Bacchus OSL finals. If you remember, he took that game 1 against Jadong. Let's see if Fantasy can actually ride the wave of confidence home this time, as opposed to his Bacchus finals, where he completely fell apart in the later games. But alright, this has been Nuke. Let's move on to the second set.